Hey, what's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hey, it's Icarus, and I'm here to tell you about Hotcast for Podcasting. We are a podcasting studio located in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Hot 702.5 FM studios. You can book online at hot7025fm.com. Just click on Hotcast. You can book and find your times right there. Thank you for booking with Hotcast for Podcasting.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. On hot7025fm.com.
Tune in now on hot7025fm.com.
Hey, everyone. Great afternoon. Happy, wonderful Wellness Wednesday. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning back, hey, welcome back, family. I am really excited. Like, man, life has been going pretty well for me, starting off with this 2025 new year. And I had an amazing weekend, you guys. I was able to go to, it's called, workplace therapy. They presented, it was called Call for More. And it was an empowerment mental wellness summit, and given by the no other than Miss Hazel Brown. Listen, bringing the community of women together, and it was just really, really amazing. Not only I was there to collect different nuggets and put them in my Easter basket and take different tools and things home to be able to help me throughout this whole new year. But you guys, I was able to be a vendor there as well. So it went really well. Of course, your girl had the teas on deck. I had the Let Lymph Flow lymphatic tea to help you with your lymphatic system and getting you all cleared in detox. I also had the Uterus bar book to help those that are preparing for a hysterectomy or helping you to not have to go down that road. And you guys, guess what? I told you I was cooking something up in the kitchen. I want to introduce to you guys my newest baby, okay? Yes, she has arrived. What a safe delivery. So the tea is called Blossoming Womb Tea, okay? And you know the title is called The Uterus Bar. Okay, so welcome you guys to the Uterus Bar show. But I wanted to make sure that I had something for us ladies. We really, really need this. And so if you are experiencing different things with your reproductive system, that is the tea that's going to really help you. So endometriosis, fibroids, ovarian cysts, heavy bleeding, chronic pain, menstrual pain. It'll help with bloating, inflammation, and even infertility as well. So I really done my research with this. This tea is not so much available for purchase just yet. If you do come to see us, the Uterus Bar will be presenting the Women's Support Group, which is going to be this month, January 25th on Saturday at Lola's Louisiana Kitchen from 2 to 4. And so definitely we'll be giving you that more information. But yes, this tea you'll be able to purchase that actually there. So so I'm here to really help all wounds globally. All right. So last week, you guys, we were talking about a very interesting topic. So first of all, what is a uterus? We talked about that. And we also talked about being born without a uterus, okay? Being born without a uterus. So I was able to kind of give you a little deep dive into what that is and share some stories of women being born without a uterus and able to still conceive. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But where we left off was what was a uterus, and we talked about the external parts. So in just a second, we're going to talk about the internal parts, and then I have some other juicy to talk to you guys about. But before I start, you already know I'm getting ready to sip on my that Let Them Flow lymphatic tea, which you can purchase in Happy Detoxing and getting that Let Them Flow, let it flow, and let it go on 208lymphatics.com. So we left off, like I said, last week, we were talking about what was a uterus and all the different parts and how intricate, it's a very intricate part to the female body. And we talked about the external parts. So let's go ahead and talk about the internal parts. The vagina, okay, the vajayjay. Your vagina is a muscular canal that joins the cervix, the lower part of the uterus, to the outside of the body. It can widen to accommodate a baby during delivery and then shrink back to hold something narrow like a tampon. Isn't God good? It can shrink back, y'all. It can shrink back. Listen, I want to say this story really quick. I remember growing up and hearing that, you know what, if you either douche with apple cider vinegar or take a apple cider vinegar bath, it would shrink your vagina back. And I used to think like, wow, like why would the vagina be that loose? Like, oh my gosh. So you're thinking about a baby, but then you're thinking about a lot of sexual partners that people will have. So I was like, man, really? Does that really work? And listen, I don't have that issue. I don't have the issue. We're going to leave it just like that. But I remember those stories, and I don't know, have you guys ever heard of that before out there? Wow. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So it's lined with mucus membranes that helps to keep it moist. Now let's talk about the cervix. Your cervix is the lowest part of the uterus. A hole in the middle allows sperm to enter and menstrual blood to exit. Your cervix opens and dilates to allow a baby to come out during a vaginal childbirth. Your cervix is what prevents things like tampons from getting lost inside your body. Have you guys heard of stories where women have gotten tampons stuck in their body or even condoms stuck inside their body and trying to figure out what is that smell, what's actually going on? So working in OBGYN, I saw a lot, and it's been a lot of stories, you guys, out there where tampons or condoms have gotten lost, and then they're like, oh my gosh, something is not right. And they would go, and the doctor would take a look, and lo and behold, rotten tampon or a condom has been just misplaced and it's there, and they're taking it out, and it's like, oh, okay, this is what the smell was. So this is true, you guys. These different stories are real as they come. Now, I know I gave you guys a lot. The uterus. Your uterus is a hollow pear-shaped organ that holds a fetus during pregnancy. Your uterus is divided into two parts, the uterus and the corpus. Your corpus is the larger part of the uterus that expands during pregnancy. Ovaries. So your ovaries are small oval-shaped glands that are located on either side of your uterus. Your ovaries produce eggs and hormones. Your fallopian tubes. These are narrow tubes that are attached to the upper part of your uterus, and they serve as pathways for your egg, which is the ovum, to travel from your ovaries to the uterus. So fertilization of an egg by sperm normally occurs in the fallopian tubes, and the fertilized egg then moves to the uterus where it implants into your uterine lining. I think about how the sperm do meet the egg, because let me tell you, so many different sperm, and they are fighting to be the number one sperm to make you be able to have a baby. Okay, so now I want to talk to you guys about, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. What are the functions of the female reproductive system? So I'm breaking this up because I want you guys to understand what's getting ready to come up next. So the female reproductive system provides several functions in addition to allowing a person to have sexual intercourse. It also helps a person reproduce. Okay. So your ovaries produce eggs. These eggs are then transported to your fallopian tube during ovulation, where fertilization by a sperm may occur. The fertilized egg moves to your uterus, where the uterine lining has thickened in the response to the normal hormones of your menstrual cycle. It's also called your reproductive cycle. So once in your uterus, the fertilized eggs can implant into the thickened uterine lining and continue to develop. I literally remember, you guys, when how can I put it? I remember when the egg, like how it was embarreled. I believe it's called embarreled. I can feel the actual pain of the fertilization when my son was conceived. I know that sounds like what? Like I literally could feel it. And I'm like, wait, what the heck is going on? Something that this can't be normal, right? But yeah, I actually felt it. And I asked other women, they were like, yeah, we felt it. And some people was like, no, I don't remember it. But yeah. So once in your uterus, the fertilized egg can implant into a thickened uterine lining and continue to develop. So if implantation doesn't take place, the uterine lining is shed as your menstrual period. In addition, the female reproductive system produces sex hormones and that maintain your menstrual cycle. So let's jump right into something else. During menopause, and we're going to be talking about that coming up too. So the female reproductive system gradually stops making the female hormones necessary for menstrual cycle to work. So at this point, menstrual cycles can become irregular and eventually stop. Then now you're considered to be in menopause when you've gone an entire year without having a menstrual period. Okay, so let me talk about something else really quick. So the average menstrual cycle takes about 28 days and occurs in phases. So these are the phases below. Here we go. The follicular phase is the egg develops. The ovulatory phase is the release of the egg. The luteal phase, hormone levels decrease in the egg that doesn't implant. There are 4 major hormones, so chemicals that stimulate or regulate the activities of cells or organs. So involved in the menstrual cycle, these hormones, here, this is what they include, okay? Your follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, estrogen, progesterone, follicular phase, and the phase starts on the first day of your period. So during the follicular phase of the menstrual cycle, the following events occur. So they talk about your FSH, which is the follicular stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone are released from your brain and travel into the blood to your ovaries. Okay. And the hormones stimulate the growth of about 15 to 20 eggs in your ovaries in each of its own shell called the follicle. You guys still with me? I'm setting up a story for y'all. These hormones, FSH and LH, also trigger an increase in the production of the hormone estrogen. So as the estrogen levels rise, like a switch, it turns off the production of the follicle stimulating hormone. And these careful, balanced hormones, okay, allows the body to limit the number of follicles that will prepare eggs to be released. As the follicular phase progresses, one follicle in the ovary becomes dominant and continues to mature. The dominant follicle suppresses all of the other follicles in the group. As a result, they stop growing and die. The dominant follicle continues to produce estrogen. Okay, we're going to stop there, and next week we're going to go over the ovulatory phase. Now, again, like we talked about last week, how women are born without a uterus, right? And how they were able to still be able to conceive. And I thought that was very, very interesting. So, I'm a storyteller, I am the information giver, and I'm your advocate. And so I said, you know what? I want to take a deeper dive into, so if a woman can be born without a uterus, what else can happen? So as I was being nosy for the right reasons, you guys, I found out something else. Are y'all ready? I found out that you can be born with 2 uteruses. I'm going to say it again. I found out that you can be born with 2 uteruses. And I was like, now what? Say more to me. So the medical term is called uterus didelphys. It's a rare congenital condition where you're born with 2 uteruses. It's commonly called a double uterus. Okay. It can cause pregnancy complications and painful menstruation. Some people have surgery to treat the uterus didelphys, but most cases does not require treatment. So I was like, wait a minute here. If you can be born with having 2 uteruses, can you conceive? And can you carry? And can it be a safe pregnancy? So here we go. So I talked to you guys about it's a rare condition, right? And a double uterus is a congenital abnormality that you are born with. Your 2 uterine cavities are narrower than the cavity of a typical uterus. Each uterus has its own fallopian tube and ovary. Okay. Now, so here is the deal. So, when a female is born, everything, like the tubes, everything is trying to grow and connect together. So what happens is somehow it doesn't fuse together, and now it's fused separately. So we talked about how the uterus is more like a hollow shape, like a pear shape. Or now imagine sometimes it can be shaped like a heart and it separates. So yes, you can be born with having 2 uteruses. You guys, 2 cervixes, 2 cervix, and 2 vaginas. I was like, wait, what? So here is my stories where I was like, okay, hey, give me, if this is true, show me the proof. So Dr. Wilshire, he's in Missouri, and he specializes in women's health. He did a surgery that I was following, and it was a lady. She had 2 uteruses, 2 cervix, and 2 vaginas. And what he did is close the two vaginas and made them into one. And so then what they did is put a telescope inside to clean out the polyps and all to remove the polyps and also clean out the cavities that was inside. So to be able to take a better look, they then did a laparoscope, place it in her belly button to be able to see the actual uterus from the outside. And wow, talk about technology. And so he was doing this to be able to give this patient a chance to have somewhat of a normal reproductive life, and also in the hopes to be able to conceive. That was one story. And then I followed another story. It was a mom that got pregnant. Okay. She had a double uterus and she gave birth to twins. Okay. So this lady, her name is Shelly. She suffered 2 miscarriages. Okay. And then after suffering, she and her husband was like, oh my gosh, we're pregnant again. And long and behold, you guys, when they went to the doctor, they looked on the ultrasound, and oh my gosh, 2 uteruses and 2 babies, y'all. One in one uterus, the other one is in the other uterus. And she's looking like, wait a minute here. Is this real? They're like, yeah, this is real. And so what they're saying is that this is very rare for women that are born with 2 uteruses to get pregnant in the separate uteruses. Okay. Now, 0.3% of women are affected. Okay. So 0.3% of women are affected, and chances of being pregnant in both are exceptionally rare. Okay. And this was done. She gave birth at the University of Alabama, Birmingham Hospital. Okay. And so according to Dr. Brian Brocato, what they do when women do get pregnant and they're having twins and both babies are in separate uteruses, they pretty much typically treat the patient as, hey, like a normal, twin pregnancy. The thing is, as they're monitoring, making sure mom and babies are healthy, their biggest concern is all hands on deck, and it's game time when it's time for the babies to be delivered. So that is their main thing, making sure that the babies come out safe and sound. Okay. I know I done said a whole mouthful. Let me drink some Let Them Flow lymphatic tea. Listen, it can be purchased on 208lymphatics.com. Okay. So that was the story. And I was like, wow, the delivery went really well, you guys. They had 2 beautiful baby little boys. They both were 6 pounds each, and they were born 2 minutes apart. What a story. Now I have another little story for y'all. Another mom, she was got pregnant as well, and she already had 3 other beautiful children, and she also had 2 uteruses. Now, she spent 20 hours in labor. First baby was born, baby Roxy, and then 10 hours later, baby Rebel came into the world, was like, hey, I'm here. And so she had twin girls. And she also had the babies at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. And so I thought that was pretty interesting to know that, man, you know what? You can be born with 2 uteruses and get pregnant. And then you can be born without a uterus and get pregnant. And it's people that's walking around here that don't know that they have maybe 2 uteruses, or don't know that they're born without a uterus until later, maybe when they're trying to conceive or they don't have a menstrual. And so we just really want to love on our sisters that are going through those different issues, those different problems. Now, out there to my amazing viewers, amazing guests, do you know of anyone that is going through this, or are you going through it yourself? And if you do, put a comment in the chat. Man, I would love to definitely hear your story. Definitely. So please, let us know, man, okay, hey, this is actually what's going on. Yeah, we would definitely love to hear more about that. Now, the next information I'm getting ready to share with you, this was through the Cleveland Clinic. Okay. As I was telling you guys, I'm getting my information from reliable sources. Okay, so Here it is. And we're still talking about born with two uteruses. So a uterus starts as two ducts in developing fetus. Eventually, these ducts join together. This is what we're talking about to create the uterus. Your uterus is one hollow organ and looks like a upside down pear. And if you have uterus didelphys, the two ducts don't join together. That's what we're talking about. Instead, each duct creates its own uterus, which means you have two. And some people with double uterus may also have two cervix. We talked about that, and two vaginal canals. But instead of having a pear-shaped uterus, if you have a uterus didelphys, your uterus resembles bananas or hearts. Okay? And we talked about 0.3% of the population are affected by that. And it's one of the least common uterine abnormalities. All right. So this is very interesting. So what is the difference between bicornuate uterus and uterus didelphys? So a bicornuate uterus is a heart-shaped uterus. This is what we're talking about. You still have one uterus, but instead of being a paired shape, it's shaped like a heart. And if you have uterus didelphys, these two separate uteruses, a bicornuate uterus is more common than uterus didelphys. Like uterus didelphys, a bicornuate uterus is congenital, meaning you're born with it. Both conditions, you guys, can cause complications during pregnancy. Now, does a uterus didelphys affect pregnancy? Yes. Uterus didelphys can impact your pregnancy. People with a double uterus are increased risk for miscarriage and preterm birth, but can have healthy pregnancies. So you guys, you still can have healthy pregnancies. It's just that the provider, your doctor, is really making sure that they're doing everything that they can to make sure you have a safe delivery and have a safe pregnancy. Okay. So here are the symptoms and causes. So most people don't know that they have the uterus didelphys because it doesn't cause any discomfort, or they saying the symptoms. Okay. Instead, it discovers during a routine pelvic exam. So it shows up there, or during investigation for recurrent miscarriages or severe menstrual pain. Man, that's something else. Now, one more thing I want to say. Here are your, if you're experiencing symptoms from uterus didelphys, so this is what I wanted to tell you this. If you have uterus didelphys, you may have pain during sex, painful cramping before and during your period, heavy bleeding during your period, leaking blood when using a tampon. And so a tampon is only in one vaginal canal and not the other. So remember, we talked about with this 2 uteruses, 2 cervix, and 2 vaginas. Okay. So if you're placing a tampon in one, guess what's happening out? It's a leak of blood. So now you're like, oh man, what's going on? This is how another way that they can tell. So because the tampon is only going up one vaginal canal. Frequent miscarriages, preterm labor. And so people are saying, well, what's causing this? Okay. So again, it just occurs when 2 ducts of the Mullerian ducts don't fuse properly during development. And these ducts usually join to create one uterus. And if you have a double uterus, the ducts didn't join, and each duct didn't turn into its own uterus. So some people will also have 2 vaginas and 2 cervixes. All right. Now they're asking, well, can it affect your periods? Your periods can be affected by the uterus. Yes, by this condition. Now, very heavy or abnormal bleeding during menstruation, painful periods, pelvic cramping and pressure, difficulty using tampons, so then you'll most likely have to use pads. And then they talked about, well, how's the diagnosis? Or what are the tests? What's happening with that? So your provider will do a pelvic exam, but also do an ultrasound to see what's going on there. Okay. Now, I want to, and they'll also do like an x-ray too, or a sonohistograph or MRI, just to make sure everything is looking smooth and whatnot. Now, if you are, we're getting ready to wrap this up, but if you are a individual woman that are going through these, again, like I said, these reproductive common concerns that you may have, like we talked about, and I'm going to list them out again: endometriosis, fibroids, ovarian cysts, abdominal, like the bloating, abnormal bleeding, painful periods, menopause, just the things that we just really go through. PCOS, my PCOS sisters too. If you are going through any of those issues, we would love to have you on our show to be able to talk to you and be able to get your story out there, because your story matters, okay? If you've had a hysterectomy or you're getting ready to have a hysterectomy and you don't know what to do, we would love to have you on our show. But most importantly, I would love to see you again, like I said, on January 25th. Okay. At the Uterus Bar Presents Women's Health Support Group. It's going to be at Lola's Louisiana Kitchen. And again, you guys, listen, we're going to have the teas. I'm definitely going to have the teas on deck. Okay. Our Blossoming Woundflower tea, our Let Them Flow Lymphatic tea. And of course, you'll be able to purchase those, but then also the Uterus Bar book. This year, everything that you want to do, let it be intentional to be able to start healing yourself and being in great health. This is your time, sis. I'm speaking to you. This is your time to get you back, to get your health back, to get that womb back together. Okay. Listen, if you have any questions or any other topics that you would like for me to discuss that's pertaining to the uterus, please reach out to me. No question is too big or small, and it's not a dumb question. Okay. You can be able to email me at theuterusbar@hot7025fm.com, and you can find me every Wednesday at the hottest radio station in Viva Las Vegas, Hot 702.5 FM. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. Hot 702.5 FM, the greatest station in Viva Las Vegas. Bye, you guys. See you next Wednesday at 1 p.m.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On Hot 702.5fm.com.